All right, so this is why I got out roughly right around here out of the long position, because as tired as I was, I need to go back to sleep, and I didn't want to have to deal with watching this happen. But here we are at the end of the day, last hour, looking at a high for the day as expected. However, I don't think that we necessarily go. I don't think we close at the highs. I think we close off of the highs here. So this might be a good exit point right now to exit out of a long position and open up a short. Matter of fact, I'm going to go with at the money. And I might open up another one depending on if I decide to close. I'll probably close this one and open up a better position. I'm thinking about it. I think I'm going to do that. All right, so that puts me on the short side now, guys. We took in some pretty solid gains today. Almost $400 in gains there. And then this is actually misleading because this was part of, I took profits yesterday, a little over $200. So this is really only like a $100 loss right here. And I could have sat on this 513 and waited until tomorrow or at some point later in this week to close out for a profit. But, you know, sometimes being off, sometimes it's important to do the smart thing. And the smart thing would be once you're out of the money, you don't want to stay out of the money. Every moment you're out of the money, your option is depreciating in value. It doesn't matter that, like, the stock could be sitting, or, you know, the underlying stock could be sitting there like flat, not going anywhere. Out of the money options are still going to depreciate, right? So when you find yourself in there's a move against you and you're out of the money, it's a really wise decision in my opinion to then move that out of the money option into a better position in the money, so you're not losing. It's based on intrinsic value rather than time value, only time value, I should say. So I opened a short position here, closed the short position here. Pretty solid, guys, from here to here. That's a solid trade. Okay, and then I opened up a short position around here. Didn't do so hot because we didn't go down nearly as much as I expected. But even so, I still followed my original plan, which was not to close the short and instead to open up a long. So I opened up some longs. I closed that about 10:43. $10.43. Do you see how that's a solid trade, guys? I left just a little bit on the table, right? And you could say technically I left all this on the table over here, but really this is the trade, right? The smart trader gets out and gets back in. Like looking at this chart, that would have been the smart thing to do. So I didn't want to go long into this end of day. I thought a better idea would be to open up a short at the end of the day at these highs. And so that's what I've done. I opened up the shorts at 317. 317. Boom. Right there. Pretty solid trading. Oh, and I moved again. If you're just hopping on, I moved that short, that one bad decision that I made, which I'll also point out, guys. Want to take a look at this? So there's a trade opportunity here to exit, right? You get into a short position. Here is what I was talking about, and then there's a trade opportunity to exit out of it shortly thereafter. But I didn't follow through on that, right? Which would have been the smart thing to do. Instead, I was expecting more of a low at the end of the day, and we didn't. We had it end near highs. We had a low at the end of the day, but not like a lowest low, to be clear. So, that didn't work out exactly as planned. But my point being is that I deviated from what the trade advisement is, and it didn't work out as expected. Even though I was off a little bit at the end of the day here, following the trade advisement still made me money. It's not Hermes. It's not Hermes' eye. It's the dog that Roger that I'm watching. Hey Sean. Hey Robert. Hey Joe. So it's the dog that I'm watching. Roger. He was it was a little like roughhousing. It wasn't exactly a fight, but we were at the dog park. He got into a little scuffle. And apparently Shih Tzus are really prone to their eyes popping out because they're kind of like already bulging out of their heads. So he got like nicked the wrong way, either by a tooth or a claw, and his eyeball came out. It was the most horrifying thing I've had to deal with in a really long time. But he's okay. He's a trooper. He had to have a surgery, which I paid for out of pocket, and the owner's good enough individual to then reimburse me. So everything has gone smooth considering an eyeball was lost. Well, eyeball wasn't lost actually. It's back in and it's all stitched closed so that it heals. And when they open it up, they'll be able to determine if he can keep his eye or if they're going to have to remove it. But either way, there's like a 30% chance he'll be able to see through that eye. I think it's a higher chance. I think he's going to be able to see through it. That's just my 2 cents. Oh, and guys, the other thing are also to keep in mind. So it is possible, it's very possible that we have a new high here in the beginning of the day. Right? There's a high and a low here around the open. So probably a new high in the pre-market. We drop to a low, and then there's a big move out of the open back to the same highs that we had in the pre-market. Right? There's like an exit, a cash out opportunity for short, most likely here in the morning. And you could also open up a long and probably it's tough, it's tricky, like depending on where right here in the morning you do it, because there's going to be a big move there, like a big drop from a peak into the open, and then a big move out of it. But it looks like there's an opportunity to both close a long and a short position in the very, very beginning of the day tomorrow. But the abundance card does make me think that it's possible we go higher, which is why I wanted to leave some cash on the table in case I need to then add a position to kind of like even it out a little bit. And this is interesting because the fact that this is like a sharp decline here, this sort of looks bullish at the end of the day. So there's either going to be like a really big drop here first thing in the morning or here midday. And if I'm wrong about that, then we either have a big drop overnight or we have a big drop overnight the following day. They're like at the end of the day on the 13th. What's interesting to point out is that the high and low significations, they line up on top of each other both here and here, and then we have only a low significator here, but there's a lot of indications of a high at the end of the day as well. But my feeling is that we don't really, I don't think we go much higher here. I would be surprised if we go higher at this point. We're at 320, we're almost at 330. This probably turns into a decline very, very, very quickly here. See, that full card is what makes me think that we may have a really sharp drop overnight or end of day here. But then we've got the abundance card, so we open higher and then drop again. It's a tricky thing. This full card might actually be talking about what's going on here first thing in the morning. So you see what I was saying yesterday, guys, is that if it looked like we were gonna have a pretty big decline day off of the same price level, right? But if it looked like we were gonna turn around, it's very probable that we would return back to around that price level. That's that Ace of Swords type of chart behavior where you go from a price level down and then you return to it. You can use the price level as an entry for a short position and then an exit and then an entry for use the price level as an entry for a short position, and then when you exit, you could open up a long position and use that same price level as an exit for the long position. It's not Hermes, IG. Hermes is perfectly fine. It's his friend Roger that got hurt. Appreciate the warm wishes though. Hey Hamza. How's XRP going to do for the week? XRP is one of the tickers that we are going to be continuing past April. So if you're an XRP trader, you'll be happy to hear that. Where is it? There. So very likely that we're going to break out based on where we are. I think we're probably going to see a higher high on the 15th for XRP. It depends. So like we could open significantly lower tomorrow and then this price level would be the price level that we break out through. But my sense is that my sense is that we're probably going to break out through this price level. Let me see. Yeah. So we should break out through this price level roughly 25.41 tomorrow at some point. I don't think the breakout will hold. The very next day we have the disappointment card. So like whatever breakout or ground we cover on the 13th, we probably then decline back down through this price level and probably through this price level and maybe even this price level of 23.80 on the 4th. I think we'll probably end up on the 14th. What the heck? Why is it showing me Wednesday? There we go. It's basically the same. So that's more like it though. Yeah, so tomorrow, very, very probable that we break through this price level here. Yeah, it's a totally different price. I'm like, what the heck is going on? All right, so let me see. I got that we kind of break out through that price level, but we hang around that price level. We maybe even cross through it more than once. Um, and then, like I said, the following day on the 14th, we have this move back down. Somewhere in there is where we should see the price level end up. But then on the 15th, we've got like this cross-reading congruency and the correlation. The 15th is probably the high. Well, it's really hard to say, guys, whether we've seen the high is either here on the 12th or it's on the 14th. The 14th could end up it could end up being like a lower peak that we sell off from. Hard to say. Hey, AV. Yeah, it was the wrong chart. It was weird. Because I'm pretty sure I clicked on the one that we were looking at the second time. I'm pretty sure I clicked on it the first time, and it didn't bring that chart up. Yeah, so left a little bit on the table there. Just a little bit, though. If you're just hopping on, guys, this loss that I took today was actually only like $100. I made a little over 200 on the other half of this position yesterday. And then this was all gain. It's pretty solid on the timing. We were off on one trade, but we already made it back from that little loss. Hey, Ali Wakar. NFP coin this week. That reminds me, guys, I've got the part 3 of the altcoin picker coming out, I believe, tomorrow. And there's a couple of pretty juicy shorts about the alt picker readings coming out over the remainder of this week. So overall for the week, NFP is going to do like a sideways rotation, and there'll be a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of sideways rotation, where we usually will revisit a support level in the midst of like that was an opportunity recently in the midst of the sharp drop. But that's the overall. Let's see how the dailies look. So it looks like it's going to be more bearish tomorrow. We'll probably come down here. And so then on Wednesday, there's a prominent move higher, a full retracement of that move. Thursday, we have 3 pokes through the same price level, overall bearish. After that third poke, there's a sharp drop. It might not be 3 pokes through the same price level. Sometimes it's the same trend line. And then on Friday, we have a sideways fluctuating decline that either ends on Friday with Friday, we have a sideways fluctuating rally that either ends on Friday with the decline or precedes a decline on Monday. One of those two. That was NFP. Are the Google and Apple lows in for now? I just finished editing. We're so behind on these Aprils looking for video editors, like ridiculous. And I just got fed up. I'm doing it myself. If you ever work with me, guys, if I tell you how to do something and I'm very, very clear about it, I say it like 2-3 times in one meeting, I better not have to repeat myself. Like, I don't have time for that. So we just finished the April because we've been. Okay, so this was all associated with the completion card. Um, well, tomorrow we've got a bearish day, and then we've got the Fool card. So it's probably that the lows came in a little bit, or the lows are a little bit late on this sequence of events. The Fool card is, kind of worrisome there. But then out of whatever decline, there's this big move on the 18th. But so I mean, in the month of March, we probably have seen the lows, unless there's like this enormous drop on the 28th, I think we probably have seen the lows. I mean, we'll see a lower price level in March than where we currently are, but I think as far as the March lowest low, I think we've already seen that. And then Apple. Apple is one of the tickers that we're discontinuing covering every single month. It'll be more sporadic, like a lot of the other ones that we're going to start doing sporadically. Oh, that's I'm looking at the wrong one. Where did my Apple go? See, the thing is that there's lows in the last week in a lot of these marches, so I would be careful. I would be careful there. I'm not sure so sure the low is in for Apple. I think we probably go lower at the end of the month. Hmm. There's a lot of kind of like divergence between the marches here in like the end of the third week and the last week. And so on the sequence of events, we had the pleasure card, which here is on the 11th. We had it appear here on the 18th, but its energy kind of carries over into the 11th. We didn't really see. Oh well, there's the strife card at the low, and you can see how the next card in the sequence of events is the victory card, which is a breakout. And we have that low that card, the victory card. It correlates very strongly to the strife card. So what that led me to believe is that we would have this big move off of the low into the 12th. Is exactly what happened. Hey, buddy. See, Hermes is fine. You're a good boy, Hermes. Could I ask the cards? Can we see 22 or 24 cents XRP in the next couple of months. This XRP 2024 reading was created on June 27, 2023 at 7:51 p.m. Eastern Time. When you double click on it, it brings you here. Yeah, it's a pretty it's a pretty big drop. Yeah. So you have here at the very end of the month a couple places where you'd want to buy into a long position. I got a yes for 25 cents in 2024 for XRP. How does Bonk token look next week? What is going on here? What does Bonk token look like for next week? Overall trend direction. I got the devil card. So whatever direction it's going next week is kind of a fake out. Let me try that again. Yeah, it's like a fake out to the upside followed by a sharp drop with actually like 3 pokes through the same trend line or price level, and then there's that sharp drop off of the third poke, the Starro card. And from like a daily standpoint, looks like let me do next week. I think I wasn't clear. Let me make sure it's next week that I'm doing this for. Little unclear by the day. That's that devil card for you. Can I give a reading on FIL this month? Hamza, do you mean like right now? Like you want me to do a full reading on FIL? Because I can't do that on the live. It takes a lot of time. But I can take a look at FIL like briefly. I wonder, are you talking about a crypto? Or are you talking about the stock? Filecoin? Overall trend direction for Filecoin throughout the month of March 2023. It's a completion of a rally, so this rally turns over in the month of March. Yeah, it looks like we turn over. I got the completion card. Completion card on a chart is usually something along these lines. Right? You go like... That's the completion card. Hopefully I did that well. Like I said, we were going to finish off of the highs. It looks like we're pretty close, though. It's like this is where you probably I wouldn't if you got a long position, I wouldn't hold it overnight. Or if I did hold it overnight, I'd take the profits on the majority of it right here at the close. This is a cash out coin. This is a very important trade indicator. You got the Fool card. You got the Princess of Discs card coming. The VIX, it shows the VIX shooting up. The VIX, I'm sure, is like to the downside based on where we are right now. But this shows it shooting up, indicating that we either had like a shoot up at the beginning of the day maybe, or there's one overnight, something along those lines. With that said, guys, I think I'm going to roll. As always, just thank you so much for watching, and make sure to follow that rule of karma. Channel's counting on you. I'm counting on you. Your own karma is counting on you. You know where to go to do that. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys tomorrow.